Remember to subscribe and hit the notification button to keep up to date with our latest videos.
Vtec, engage! Welcome back to the show, you guys. My name is Marcus, and you're watching Roads Untraveled, a special episode. Thanks to the guys over at Velocity Cars here in Burnaby, British Columbia, the largest JDM importer in all of Canada, and definitely here in BC. Thanks, guys, for having us. We are driving a very special car that was never sold in the North American market. Our specialty, another one of these kind of nerdy unicorn cars that are brought over to Japan into Canada because of our very gracious 15-year import law. Now, the Euro-R is somewhat of a unicorn, not only in the fact that it wasn't sold here, because a lot of cars weren't sold in North America, but it's because it is the best version of this generation Accord that was never sold here. So finally, because this is a 2001 model, we can import it into Canada. Actually, we can import cars up to 2003 now. So we're getting lots of stuff. You can actually import JDM S2000s, which is really cool, NSXs, everything, right? The Honda Accord is one of the most plentiful cars around. There are so many of them. They blend in very well. But the Accord Euro-R, just looking at it from the outside, not only does it have the unicorn of an engine under the hood, which is what makes this car special to begin with. I think the number one thing that makes it special is that H22A up front. It makes 217 horsepower thanks to that awesome Vtec noise at the top half of the rev band. And not only that, but they actually, did some stuff to the bodywork. It's got fender arches, it's got, the front lip, the whole front end's different, it's got a wing on the back, it's got dual exhausts. I mean, as far as Honda Accords go, I think this is the best looking Accord that Honda ever made. I think I'm correct in saying that. I don't know, you guys tell me. It looks really nice, but at the same time, it just keeps the pedestrian kind of look. It's not as outlandish as, let's say, a brand new Civic Type R, which is, to be frank, I mean, it's pretty out there, let's just say that. But yes, it has VTEC. It's got a whole 217 horsepower, naturally aspirated, the way Hondas are supposed to be, right? The way a lot of these sports cars from this time era, especially, let's say, the 99 Civic Type R hatch that we filmed, that's another example of a Honda unicorn from this kind of time period. And of course, the Euro-R is a 5-speed manual. This is also my first time driving this generation Accord as well. Now, generally, you just find them in your basic 4-cylinder auto, boring car. But the Euro-R has a few touches that make it very special and a little bit more fun to drive, not only on a daily basis, but in the canyons as well. I mean, it's pretty quick. It's definitely not slow. We just got rid of a 2019 Mazda 3 press car that we had, the base model that has 186 horsepower, and that's about $30,000 out the door. This, while yes, it is old, it's 2001, it has 217 horsepower, so quite a bit more power than a brand new Mazda 3, and this is listed for just under $10,000 currently at Vancouver Velocity Cars. So if you guys are in Vancouver, some of you guys are local, hit the link in the description to check out Velocity Cars' website. They have a huge inventory, a lot of Subarus too, but this one is actually listed for sale if you want to buy this particular car. It's got 129,000 kilometers on it. So if you've ever driven a Honda 5-speed before, especially from this era, you will note that, I mean, from the factory, they're probably some of the best shifting cars on the market. Honda really knows how to build a high-quality, robust shifter that feels very good in your hands, feels very notchy, short, easy to engage. You know, there's a kind of a click to get it into gear. It's, you know, it's got like a sporty feel to it. So if you're just driving around the city or on your daily commute, you're not really going to be engaging Vtec at all. You're not really going to be using all 217 horsepower. You really only need like 50, 60 horsepower, just putt around town, right? And that's kind of the biggest strength of this car as well as its biggest weakness. So, and what I mean by that is it's kind of a dual personality car to the extreme. So you really have to be over about 5,200 RPM to get into Vtec, and then it revs all the way to 7,400 RPM. So you have a decent chunk at the top of the power band where it really screams. I mean, this car pulls pretty hard. I think it does 0 to 60 in about 6 seconds. For 2001 Honda Accord is very quick, very quick. Now, the dual personality aspect of this car comes into play because, first off, you do have to completely rev it to 74 to get all of the power. You have to rev it past 52 to engage Vtec, right? But when you're below Vtec, I mean, it's just a normal Accord. It's quiet, it's very comfortable, and one of the coolest features of this car, actually, is it's got electric power steering from the S2000, because of course this is a 2001, made at the same time as the first gen S2000, so it has electric power steering from that car, I believe the AP2, and it has a control here, 3 settings for power steering, adjustable electric power steering. I've never seen that on a car before. Very fascinating. I honestly don't know if it's a placebo or if it actually is making a difference, but it feels like on the minimum setting, very light. It feels like your normal average Honda Accord, and then you put it up 2 notches, takes a second, and then I think it actually does get heavier. I think it gets like a little bit heavier. It's not heavy steering. It's not, you know, what you would, you know, the utmost of what you would want out of a sports sedan like this, but it definitely does make a difference, and it's one of these cool JDM features that only a handful of cars had that Honda ever made, right? For someone who's legitimately looking for a daily driver sedan that's also fun and fast and affordable and great on gas and has one of the most iconic Honda Vtec engines under the hood, this is a really good option. And it's modern. It's not like you're buying a 93 that looks, you know, that looks super dated and it doesn't get all that great fuel economy. I mean, this is a 2001. The interior here is of a generation that it actually has some good modern conveniences. So this car is actually quite a perfect example of when hindsight is 20/20. Now, what I mean by that is this car is so close to being a collector's car. And now production was low, but what I mean by that is they nailed so many things with this car, but they just missed the mark. They really did. They just missed the mark. Now, if you're looking for a bipolar sedan, bipolar sports sedan, this is the thing. This is the car for you because you put it in fifth. It's super quiet. It's comfortable. Factory Recaro seats. Can't complain. They're awesome sport bucket seats. Like Honda went all out. It's got the Type R shifter in here. It's got some things that really make it unique. But at the same time, you sit very high up in this car. It's apparent that they didn't do as much as they possibly could in terms of driver involvement and making this a little bit more hardcore than a standard Accord. Like, you do sit on top of the car versus in the car. It doesn't have that kind of like a four-door E36 M3. That is a hot sedan, you know? And this is like 9/10 of the way there, but it's not quite there. That's one of the reasons. The other is, you know, the electric power steering's good, and this is why I say hindsight's 20/20, because obviously in 2001, when Honda came out with this car, they want to put the new technology in it. You know, oh, it has the same steering as the S2000. That's great. That's a really good feature. But here in 2019, us gearheads, or maybe it's just me, but I reminisce about the times of hydraulic power steering, a really good hydraulic power steering setup, which this does not have. So even if you're in Vtec above 5,000, ripping in and out of the corners, the car handles great. It really does, but the steering is still just Accord steering at the end of the day. So the seating position and the steering are probably the biggest two downfalls of this vehicle. I mean, for all I can see, the only two downsides or downfalls of this vehicle. And those are the only two things that really would kind of shy me away from purchasing this. But again, for $10,000 Canadian, so that's like $7,500 US. Oh man, what a car. What a car. But this is, I mean, talk about bang for the buck in the used JDM market. Honda used great materials in here. There is no rattles. There's no wear on the interior whatsoever. The seats are not ripped. They're in perfect condition. Honestly, I don't know who I should give credit to more, Velocity Cars for finding such a clean example and maintaining such a clean example, or Honda for just building a very durable car from the factory, right? And here's the thing. When compared to a modern sedan, it is a flyweight. It's a lightweight. It only weighs 2,900 pounds. So Honda really did everything right with this car except for the seating position and the steering. They just missed on the steering just a little bit. It auto centers really quick too. I don't know if you guys can see that, but like it just like snaps back to center, which is very odd. It makes for odd steering, but you know, it's got the body roll, it's got the playful driving characteristics that you want from an Accord, but you get to say to your friends, I drive the Euro-R. Like an older Civic Type R or an Integra Type R, they're pretty harsh. You know, there's some stuff done with sound deadening taken out, welding, etc., to make the chassis a little bit more rigid. But with this, it's still so seemingly quiet and comfortable. So it's not as hardcore as like an older Civic Type R is compared to a normal Civic, but it's still quite a departure from a normal Accord. There is definitely enough here. I mean, you could just see from the outside of the car, it's distinguishable that this is a separate thing from a normal Accord, which is really, I think, going to help the long-term values of these cars kind of stay up in the market, especially when these become legal for you guys down stateside. I mean, the power plant is just, it's so easy. It's always there for you. It does exactly what you want. It always seems to hit Vtec at the exact right moment you need it. You know, if you're in third gear and you're trying to pass someone, for the first second, you won't have Vtec, and you'll be like, come on, and then there's Vtec, and you're past the person, and everything's good again, right? So it's kind of playful in that sense. You never really know what you're going to expect, but you don't really have to ever look at the tach because Vtec just seemingly presents itself at the most opportune times. And that's what I love about these engines, especially the H22A. Also, actually, shout out to the H22A because we just dropped a bunch of new engine code jet tag designs on our site, one of which is the H22A. So hit the link in the description if you want to check it out. 10% off the H22A jet tags if you guys want to get one. Thanks guys so much for watching. Thank you Serge and the rest of you guys over at Velocity Vancouver Cars. Stay tuned. We're gonna go check out their yard real quick, and we're gonna check out their entire inventory. So if you guys see anything that we walk by that you want to see us review, we're gonna be back. So hit us up in the comments below. tell us what you like, and we will drive it on a future episode. All right, you guys, so we just finished up with the Accord Euro-R. Now, if you guys haven't heard of Vancouver Velocity Cars here in Burnaby, check it out. We're gonna do a quick walk around here, and I'm gonna show you what other unique JDM gems they have so that you guys can comment down below which cars you want to see us drive in the future. Because judging what I'm seeing here, we will be back. This is one of the ones I actually really wanted to drive today, and we hopefully, fingers crossed, will drive it. It is a Altezza. Okay, so you might be thinking, okay, Marcus, we know what an Altezza is. It's turbocharged though. So it's like highly modified turbocharged, manual rear wheel drive Altezza. That I really want to drive. What else do we have? We filmed an Alphard before. That's like those super VIP luxury JDM vans. We've got a Blobeye WRX STI. Very clean, nice one over there. We have a right-hand drive Z32 300ZX here. It is a manual. Might be twin turbo. We have filmed those before, so generally, like with the Accord Euro-R and other cars like that, we're trying to find stuff that is, first off, extremely unique to North America, but also stuff we haven't filmed before. Do you guys want to see this? I really want to see this. Probably more than anything on this yard, to be honest. It's a Daihatsu Hi-Jet 4-wheel drive. It's basically like a K-truck, you know, super tiny engine. We've got another Chaser here. We just put out a video on a Chaser. Another Accord Euro-R. This is the newer one that looks like the TSX that I was mentioning. We've got a JDM right-hand drive Mazda RX-8 because those are legal to import now. Wow, and 5 Delicas. We're definitely going to do a Delica at one point because we haven't actually filmed a Delica yet. What else do we have? More Alphas. We've got the JDM version of course, the Lexus SC300, which is the Soarer in Japan. But yeah, let's walk over here. I'll show you the Subarus, and then, yeah, that's basically it. But Legacy GT, Legacy B4, Forester, Legacy GT. I mean, literally every single Subaru you can imagine. Forester STI, 2 of them actually over there. We've got a 3rd gen MR2 and an Evo and a few other cars. We'll grab a couple B-roll shots. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the Accord Euro-R. I sure did, here at Vancouver Velocity Cars in Burnaby. Thanks guys for watching. We'll see you next time.